Welcome back to another video. In this video, really just going to focus on teaching you guys how to trim the top. So we want to part the middle and to leave like a really skinny mohawk, called the profile section. So it can be the width of a comb or like a little bit wider than the width of your comb. I normally start at the front and then work from like towards his face, the hairline, and work back to the head, but for the angle of the video, I start right here. He wanted quite a bit off, a good like 2 inches off almost in some areas. So that's about solid 2-3 months. So now we're gonna pick up a little bit of the guide and new hair. So use the comb to pull new hair to your hands, grab it, and then our guide is right here. And so we're just gonna cut the longer hairs to match that guide. So the goal is that you'll always pick up a little bit of the guide and then majority of it be longer hair to trim. So you're really just connecting the dots. But see how his head is tilted down? Try to make sure that their head stays a little bit upright. So you can see me pull his head back here. They always want to drop their head because hair's falling on their face, but just try to lift it up. Now, since we cut the middle, we're just going to make the right side match to the middle. So as I'm combing, I'm lifting a little bit of the middle, which you can see on the far left of here. And then the right side, we're just going to cut to make match. And we're just connecting the dots. It's pretty simple. You see the guide on the left, cut the right. So you basically just cut the middle section, then you cut this right section, and then the left section. Or you can do middle, left, right. It don't matter. Here's me cutting the left side. Now that we're done with the middle and the right, now we're going to pick up a little bit of the middle. And you can see the guide at the very right of my hand. Cut that left side. So cutting it like this, you can see the guide again, and we're just going to make it match. So as long as you pick up some of the guide, you'll always be able to see what hair to cut. If you can't see the guide at all, just drop the hair and try to comb it back up, picking up some of the guide again. Cutting like this is blunt, so it'll be a little bit heavier. So we're going to go back and add some texture. And what texture does is texture helps the hair move more freely. So if you have a kid whose hair is like really heavy, it just wants to fall down when you want to comb it over or put it to a faux hawk or something, you'll add texture. Adding texture is you're just cutting at a 45-degree angle like so. And you're just basically just making steps or little mountains. And so I do it from the side angle. I stand on the side of their head, and then I do the middle section, and then I pick up the right section, and then I pick up the left section. And when you're cutting like this, you're mainly removing weight, but you're kind of removing some length. So the deeper the angle, the more aggressive the texture. So if you're, person's hair, you're cutting super thick hair, you can make it really deep. Like this is a pretty deep cut. How it's like almost an inch that we're cutting down into, but you can even make it even more dramatic all over the head. So now I'm doing like the left side of his head, and your shears are going to be really sharp. So like don't cut your fingers, go slow while you cut the top, take your time, rest the shear on your finger or a little bit above, and then you can snip because it happens quick and cutting your finger sucks. It's not fun. And then you're bleeding, you still got to finish the cut. So just go slow at the top. We're just adding a ton of texture. And again, texture just helps you like remove weight, and so the hair can kind of stand or form and shape on its own without much product or without much effort. So if you're doing a pompadour or slick back, you should always cut the top like this. But I was just showing you kind of how to cut it and find a guide. If you cut it like this from the very beginning, you might not be able to see what your guide is. So you can just cut it blunt first, which is like straight across how we first cut it. And then you can come back and add these texture cuts, make a little mountain or little steps in the hair. So now I'm just going through like adding as much texture as I can. This client, his hair, he likes to try to like hide his hairline. It's like common in college and high school kids right now. They like that messy look where it comes down to their eyebrows almost. So this is it flat. And with texture, you can just move it with your hands like this. And if you did a good enough amount of texture, it'll hold like this. It'll kind of hold up or however you're trying to shape it, it'll hold on its own without product, without blow drying. So if it's not doing this, you just go back and add more texture. You just add hella texture. Once you're happy with the desired length, you go back and add as much texture as you want. Once you add pomade in this or texture powder, it'll hold more like throughout the day. So malo, ofas. Here are some examples of like textured cuts on top like this. It's messy. So different hair textures and different lengths, it'll look different, but this is kind of the looks that you can give your clients or just your homies or your family. Just a messy look. More texture equals this, versatile.